Good day, sir. We are Kapwa Dangal ng Bayan. Our group consists of
Maria Nicole Arevalo.
Catherine Bello.
Carl Angelo Conciso,
Christian Ignacio,
Alsan Kapitbahay.
Alina Princess Malabana.
Oliver Quiroz,
Revelyn Joy R. Silasiban.
Lawrence Santos,
and Lorenzo Tagalog.
We are tasked to make a simple pizza ordering system that allows the user to select a pizza flavor, select the pizza size, and select their choice for the add-ons. Before we start to discuss how we created our project, here is the sample output of our program.
We started our project by creating a Java project in Eclipse. Then in order to add J components, we created a JFrame. First, we added J labels for select flavor, select size, select add-ons, and order summary. After that, we added the text area and 3 panels next to it. One of the panels contains the radio buttons for the 3 pizza flavors, another contains the radio buttons for pizza sizes, and the J labels stating each price. And lastly, a panel for the 5 check boxes of add-ons. We created button groups for radio buttons so that the user could only choose one of each pizza flavor and size. Since the checkboxes allow multiple selections, the user can select multiple add-ons. The Hawaiian flavor and small size pizza are selected by default. The price will vary according to the flavor, size, and amount of add-ons selected by the user. The Create Order button was positioned beneath the panels. In the text area section, the user's order summary will be displayed.
Now let's go to the source code. First, we created a radio button array for the flavors of pizza, another radio button array for the sizes, JLabel for array for the labels, and checkboxes array for the add-ons. The first 3 array have an element of 3. We place the radio button Hawaiian, radio button ham and cheese, and radio button pepperoni in the first array for the flavors. We place the radio button small, radio button medium, and radio button large in the second array for the prices. Now lastly, we place label small price, label medium price, and label large price in the third array. So now, for the costs of each flavor per size, we created a double data type 2D array. Hawaiian is on the first row, ham and cheese is on the second row, and pepperoni is on the third row. For the cost of the add-ons, we created a double data type array. After that, we'll put the options into their own array along with their prices and add-on prices.
functionalities of each J component. So in the select flavor, we constructed a J label with the variable panel flavor that will contain the J radio buttons variables such as RDO Hawaiian, RDO ham and cheese, and RDO pepperoni, which represents the flavor of the pizza that the user wants to order. The first choice, which is Hawaiian, is already chosen by default as shown in the output. So in order to do so, we use the method .setSelected on RDO Hawaiian and set it to true. We also put an action listener to all radio buttons in the panel flavor so that whenever the user chooses any of the radio buttons, the prices of the select size panel, which are represented by JLabel variables LBL small price, LBL medium price, and LBL large price, will change in accordance to the chosen flavor. If the user selects another flavor like pepperoni, the program will listen to the action of the user, which then enters the event handler for RDO pepperoni. So the event handler has a for loop inside that changes the prices according to its size. The loop has a variable I that has a initial value of 0. Then the loop will repeat until the condition I less than pizza price sizes that length becomes false. So since we stored the J labels of the sizes in a size label array, we can change the text of the elements in array size labels by using the loop. So for further explanation, we will get the current value of I, which is 0, putting it in the index of array size labels, and next we will set the text of the J-label based on the value of the pizza size prices. Then after that, we can change the return value of pizza size prices to string because the parameter of method set text shall be string. Increments for the variable I will be done until the condition of the loops becomes false. The same algorithm will be used in each radio button flavor. Using a for loop, get the J-label based on the J-label array for labels. Then set the text based on the return value of the pizza size prices, and finally converting it into string.
In the select size, we use the panel size variable to create a panel for the selection of sizes of the pizza, which are small sized, medium sized, or large sized. Each size is represented by a JRadio button variables, which are RDO small, RDO medium, and RDO large, respectively. The same in the select size panel. The first choice, small size, of the select size panel is selected by default along with its price. In the last part of the selection is the select add-ons panel. In this panel, we use the variable panel add-ons. This panel contains a JCheckbox component, which means that you can select more than one option. Also, there is no default selection here, which means that it depends on the user if they want to add some toppings on their pizza or they want it plain. We use the variable CHK pepper, CHK onions, CHK black olives, CHK green peppers, CHK extra cheese to represent the add-ons options pepper, onions, black olives, green peppers, and extra cheese.
We added an action listener to the create order button that will handle all the action events, and then we created a separate method named create order method that will contain the codes that the create order button will perform. So first, we declare the double data type variables add on total and total price with a value of 0.0 and the integer data type variables what flavor and what size with a value of 0. We name the variable names based on what a certain variable will store. Next, we created a for loop that will change the value of what flavor variable. First, I is initialized to a value of 0, I is less than flavors.length defines the condition for the for loop to run. This condition will check if the value of I is less than the flavors.length. So here, the length of flavors array is 3 because it only stores Hawaiian, ham and cheese, and the pepperoni, and then I++ will increment the value of I by 1.
The for loop works like this, so the value of I in the first loop is 0, then we are going to test if 0 is less than the flavors.length, which is 3. So in this case, this condition is true, so the code inside the for loop will be executed. Inside this for loop is an if statement. The condition of if statement is flavor I that is selected, so the I here is 0, so it means we are testing if the element in the flavors array with an index 0 is selected. The element in the index 0 is Hawaiian, so if the user selected Hawaiian flavor, the value of the variable what flavor will become 0. The loop will iterate and will stop when the value of I is greater than or equal to 3 or the length of the array flavors. Take note that the index of the array always starts at 0 and the value of what flavor variable will be changed only if the if condition is true. We also created a loop to change the value of the variable what size. So this for loop is just like the previous for loop wherein we initialize the value of I to 0. But their difference is the condition. So in this for loop, the condition is that variable I must be less than 2 sizes.length. The length of the array sizes is 3 because this array only stores RDO small, RDO medium, and RDO large. Then I++ to increase the value of I. An if statement with the condition size I that is selected is contained within this for loop.
If the user selects the small size of their pizza, the code inside the if statement will be executed. The value of the variable what size will be set to the value of I, which is currently at 0. If the user selects a different size, the same logic will be used, but the value of variable I will increase since we use an increment after each loop. The for loop will start over again and will stop when I is greater than or equal to the size.length, which is 3. After getting the value of the variables what size and what flavor, we will now use the append method to display the text in the text area. In this line of code, we will append this text inside the parentheses, then insert \n to add a new line. String pizza flavor and the selected flavor of the user will be concatenated. Flavors what flavor that get text is used for us to get the selected flavor of the user. So for instance, if the value of the what flavor variable is 0, the program will check which element in the flavors array has an index of 0, and it will be displayed in the text area. In this line of code, we will use the append method to display the size selected by the user. So assume that the value of what size is 0. The code sizes what size that get text will get the element inside the array with an index number 0. Third append. This line of code will append the string add-ons and a new line.
For the add-ons, we use another for loop for checking which of the 5 add-ons were selected. Variable I is incremented in each loop. We use the condition variable I that should be less than the length of the array add-ons. If this condition becomes false, the loop will terminate. If the if condition within the loop returns true, the add-on prices with an index of I will be added to the add-on total, and the selected add-ons will be appended to the text area using this code structure. Text A order summary dot append open parenthesis tab plus add-ons array I dot get text open and close parenthesis plus line break close parenthesis.
Now, to compute the total price of the order, the value of the total price variable is the sum of its previous value plus the element of the array pizza size prices with an index of what flavor and what size. The first index of the pizza size prices, which is the what flavor variable, is the rows, while the second index, which is the what size variable, is the columns, in which this pizza size prices array is set to double and has a fixed value with the size of 3 by 3. It also adds the total value of the add-on total to the total price variable, which computes the total bill for the ordered pizza. Then this line of code will append to the total price string to the text area, and the value of the total price will be also appended to the text area because we concatenate it to the total price. We also use string format %.toFloat or 2f to round off the total price to the nearest 100. Now that we've finished writing our create order method, we'll call it so that when the user clicks the create order button, all of the line of codes in the create order method will be executed.
We use the base format in the PDF for the design of our program since we deemed it was user-friendly and simple to use. The user could only select one of each choice, but the checkboxes allowed you to select several options. We genuinely prefer the design which includes J labels beside the radio buttons to indicate the various pricing based on the pizza size and flavor. In the text area, where it will show the order summary of the user, after clicking the create order button, we observe proper spacing for the order summary so that it will be easier to read for the user. We added our unique touch to make it more visually appealing. To make the radio buttons and checkboxes appear separated, and to avoid user confusion, we place them within the J panels. For the visuals, and to make it more readable, we modified the font and font color of several J labels. Change the color of the create order button to red, create a pizza themed background for the content pane, and put a pizza menu icon under the text area.
And that concludes the presentation of our project in Computer Programming 2.
Again, we are Kapwa Dangal ng Bayan. Thank you for watching.